In the quiet town of Newburgh Heights, Ohio, a chilling mystery began to unfold in late October 1981. Kurt Sova, a 17-year-old boy with a bright future ahead of him, attended a party that would change everything. Kurt was known for his friendly demeanor and infectious smile. But that night, something went terribly wrong. He mysteriously disappeared, leaving his family and friends in a state of growing panic. Days turned into an agonizing wait, and as the search intensified, the town's collective heart sank with each passing moment. What happened to Kurt Sova? How could a young boy vanish without a trace from a seemingly ordinary party? The events that followed would only deepen the mystery, leaving behind a trail of unsettling questions and eerie coincidences. On the night of October 23, 1981, Kurt Sova attended a party that seemed like any typical teenage gathering. The venue was a duplex in a quiet neighborhood, filled with the usual mix of high school students looking to unwind. The atmosphere was lively, with laughter and music filling the air. But beneath the surface, something felt off. Witnesses recall seeing Kurt socializing and enjoying himself, but as the night wore on, his demeanor began to change. Some said he appeared disoriented, while others mentioned he seemed anxious. The last confirmed sighting of Kurt was around midnight. A friend claimed to have seen him standing near the door, as if he was about to leave. But Kurt never made it home. Conflicting reports from partygoers only added to the confusion. Some said Kurt left with a group of people, while others insisted he stayed behind. There were even whispers of a heated argument, but no one could pinpoint exactly what happened. The behavior of the attendees varied. Some were cooperative, others evasive, and a few disturbingly indifferent. As the hours turned into days, the sense of dread grew. Kurt's parents, Richard and Dorothy Sova, were frantic. They scoured the town, questioned everyone they could, and even retraced Kurt's steps. But each lead seemed to dissolve into thin air, leaving them with more questions than answers. What really happened at that party? Who saw Kurt last, and what did they see? The layers of confusion and conflicting accounts only deepened the mystery of Kurt Sova's disappearance. The search begins. 5 days of uncertainty. As the hours turned into days, Kurt Sova's disappearance weighed heavily on his family and friends. His parents, Richard and Dorothy Sova, were relentless in their search. They canvassed the neighborhood, putting up flyers and knocking on doors, desperate for any clue that might lead them to their son. The police initially treated Kurt's disappearance as a runaway case, but Richard and Dorothy knew their son better. They insisted he wouldn't just vanish without a trace. The Sovas were joined by friends and community members, all scouring the town and surrounding areas. Every lead, no matter how small, was meticulously followed up. Witness reports began to trickle in, adding layers to the already perplexing mystery. Some claimed to have seen Kurt wandering the streets, appearing disoriented and confused. Others insisted they saw him in places he'd never usually go. One particularly strange account came from a shop owner who swore Kurt had come into his store, looking lost and asking for directions. But when the Sovas checked the security footage, there was no sign of Kurt. Every new sighting seemed to contradict the last, creating a web of confusion. Some witnesses described Kurt as being perfectly fine, while others said he looked unwell, even scared. The inconsistencies only deepened the sense of dread that hung over Newburgh Heights. Despite their best efforts, Richard and Dorothy found themselves running into dead ends. The police, now more involved, conducted their own searches but found nothing. The lack of concrete information was maddening. Kurt's friends were equally baffled, unable to reconcile the Kurt they knew with the bizarre reports coming in. As the days dragged on, hope began to wane, replaced by a gnawing fear. What had happened to Kurt Sova? Why were there so many conflicting accounts? The uncertainty was unbearable, and the sense of urgency grew with each passing hour. The discovery. A body found in a ravine. 5 days into the frantic search for Kurt Sova, a discovery was made that would send shockwaves through Newburgh Heights. A discovery that only deepened the mystery. Just yards from where the Halloween party had been held, Kurt's body was found lying in a shallow ravine. The area had been searched multiple times, so how could his body have been overlooked for days? The circumstances of his discovery were nothing short of bizarre. Kurt was found without any visible signs of trauma or struggle. There were no cuts, no bruises, no indications of foul play. His clothes were intact, and he was lying in a peaceful position, almost as if he had simply laid down to rest. But the haunting question remained. How did he end up there? Witnesses who had scoured the area in the days prior were adamant that Kurt's body had not been there before. One searcher even claimed to have walked directly over the spot where Kurt was eventually found. The anomaly was perplexing, leaving everyone to wonder, had Kurt's body been moved, or had it somehow been hidden in plain sight? Further complicating matters was the lack of any concrete evidence. The autopsy results were inconclusive. Toxicology tests came back clean. No drugs, no alcohol, nothing that could explain his sudden death. Kurt's parents, Richard and Dorothy, were left with more questions than answers. How could their son disappear from a party and end up dead in such a mysterious manner? As the community grappled with these questions, whispers of darker possibilities began to circulate. Was it foul play, an accident, or something more sinister? The discovery of Kurt Sova's body raised more questions than it answered, leaving his family and the entire town in a state of bewilderment and sorrow. As the community grappled with the shocking discovery of Kurt Sova's body, the focus shifted to the autopsy. But instead of providing clarity, the results only deepened the mystery. The medical examiner's findings were perplexing. Despite being missing for 5 days, Kurt's body showed no signs of significant decomposition. There were no visible injuries, no evidence of a struggle, and no indications of foul play. Toxicology tests came back clean. No trace of drugs or alcohol was found in his system. Yet, the cause of death remained undetermined. How could a healthy 17-year-old simply collapse and die without any apparent reason? The autopsy report was inconclusive, leaving Kurt's parents, Richard and Dorothy, in a state of anguish. They were desperate for answers, but the medical examiners could offer none. The lack of concrete evidence only fueled speculation and rumors within the community. Adding to the enigma were the conflicting witness statements. Some claimed to have seen Kurt at various locations after he had supposedly vanished from the party. Others reported seeing him in a disoriented state, wandering the streets. These inconsistencies made it difficult for the police to piece together a coherent timeline of Kurt's final hours. Police reports also contained discrepancies. Some searchers were adamant that they had thoroughly scoured the area where Kurt's body was eventually found, insisting that it had not been there before. This raised unsettling questions. Had Kurt's body been moved, or had it somehow been hidden in plain sight? With each passing day, the mystery surrounding Kurt Sova's death grew more convoluted. The community was left to ponder a chilling question. What really happened to Kurt Sova? As the autopsy report left Kurt Sova's family and the community in a state of confusion, various theories began to emerge, each more unsettling than the last. Could foul play have been involved? Some speculated that Kurt might have witnessed something he shouldn't have at the party, leading to his untimely demise. Others believed that a party prank had gone horribly wrong, and in a panic, those involved decided to cover it up. Witness claims only added to the enigma. Several people reported seeing Kurt wandering around town in a disoriented state after he was supposedly dead. Could these sightings have been true, or were they simply cases of mistaken identity? If Kurt was alive during those sightings, what happened to him during those missing 5 days? Then, there were whispers of a possible cover-up or mishandling by law enforcement. Some locals believed that key evidence was overlooked or ignored. The fact that Kurt's body was found in an area that had been previously searched multiple times raised eyebrows. Could his body have been moved, or was it somehow hidden in plain sight? These unanswered questions have kept the case shrouded in mystery for decades. Theories of accidental death, foul play, or even something more sinister continue to circulate, leaving everyone to wonder, what really happened to Kurt Sova? As we unravel the enigmatic threads of Kurt Sova's tragic demise, we're left grappling with the same haunting questions that have perplexed investigators and armchair detectives for decades. Was Kurt's death a tragic accident, or something far more sinister? Recap the key unsolved elements of the case. Kurt Sova, a bright 17-year-old, goes missing after a Halloween party in 1981. 5 agonizing days later, his lifeless body is discovered in a ravine near his home in Newburgh Heights, Ohio, an area that had been exhaustively searched multiple times before. The autopsy reveals no clear cause of death, no drugs, no alcohol, no trauma. Witnesses provide conflicting accounts, some even claiming to have seen Kurt alive after his supposed disappearance. These baffling inconsistencies only deepen the mystery. Decades later, the case remains a cold mystery with no definitive answers. Despite the passage of time, the pain and confusion for Kurt's family and the community endure. Theories of foul play, accidental death, or even a more sinister cover-up continue to circulate, but the truth remains elusive. So, we turn to you, our viewers. What do you think happened to Kurt Sova? Could this case ever be solved, or will it forever remain a chilling enigma? As we delve deeper into the mysterious death of Kurt Sova, we must confront the profound impact this tragic case has had on his family and the local community. Kurt's parents, devastated by the loss of their beloved son, have spent decades searching for answers that never came. The grief and frustration of not knowing what truly happened to Kurt have left an indelible mark on their lives. In the small town of Newburgh Heights, the shadow of Kurt's disappearance and death looms large. For many residents, the case is a chilling reminder of the fragility of life and the darkness that can lurk just beneath the surface of everyday existence. The unanswered questions and the eerie circumstances surrounding Kurt's death continue to haunt those who remember the bright young boy who vanished without a trace. As the years have passed, the community's hope for closure has waned, but the memory of Kurt Sova endures. His story serves as a stark reminder of the mysteries that remain unsolved and the pain that lingers long after the headlines have faded. We end this chapter on a somber note, reflecting on the enduring mystery of Kurt Sova's death. The unanswered questions and the haunting nature of the case leave us with a sense of unease and a yearning for the truth. Will we ever know what really happened to Kurt Sova? Or will this case remain a tragic enigma, forever cold? Stay tuned for more unsolved mysteries. And remember, sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction.